You are now listening to Renewed Mind Revolution podcast with your host, Michelle Cook Hall. Please begin to take that good deep breath as we begin to refresh, recharge, and reset. Let's go.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Faith vs. Fear, Breaking Family Ties, now available on Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. You are now listening to Renewed Mind Revolution podcast with your host, Michelle Kakal.
Welcome to Renewed Mind Revolution podcast with your host, Michelle Cook Hall. Happy holidays, you guys. We are coming closer and closer and closer to the end of 2021. And I am super excited that I'm still able to do what I'm doing and do it with love, do it with excitement, do it with joy. What a blessing it is to be able to do something that you really, really do enjoy doing it. And I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to connect with you. I'm excited to be able to come on once again, share some tips and some tools with you because as we hit this holiday season, it is my ultimate goal to make sure that I'm addressing some of the issues and some of the concerns so we don't take the baggage into 2022. You guys know I don't believe in that. We left 2020 baggage in 2020. We did not take that into 2021. And we will not, and I do mean we will not take 2021's baggage into 2022 because we are progressive. We are progressive and we are moving forward. And that's what it's all about. We're going to learn and we're going to apply what we learned and we're going to make the necessary adjustments and changes to our lives so that we can become a better version of ourselves. And what's so awesome is that we know that we can. We know that grace abides and that it gives us an opportunity to reset that button and start all over again. Look, you all, I am comfortably sitting with my cup of coffee. I am a coffee person. I only have one cup a day, but that cup a day is mandatory for me. And so today is chilly outside. And I live in Illinois, for those who don't know, and so it's very chilly here in this second week of December, and so this coffee is definitely coming in handy today. Listen, let's get the preliminaries out of the way. Number one, please remember that before the end of this year, I will have another special guest on here, and we're going to do a recap of 2021. So that ought to be really interesting and fun. We will keep it fun. And also, all of the information that we share here on this podcast can be found in my books, Faith versus Fear, as well as Breaking Family Ties, which is available on Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. So we got that out of the way. Also, let me throw this in there, is that if you would like to connect with me, I am on all social media platforms. Also, there's a website that you can go and check out my ministry and the things that I do. It is www.michellechall.com. Once again, that is www.michellechall.com. Now look, today I'm sticking with the holiday theme. I'm sticking with that. That's what I told you I was going to do. So anything that I can find, anything that I can research, anything that I can think of that I feel will help you and help me during this holiday season, I'm going to make sure I do it. And so today we're going to share some information that I located regarding holiday stressors. Holiday stressors. I found this to be interesting because we're gonna do with three factors, three stressors. Okay, and this before I go any further, this information is coming from an article by USA Today. Okay, and so it's coming from the year 2019. So it's a little dated, but not quite that dated, but it's still very, very relevant, very relevant. And so I found one of these topics to be very interesting, and I'm going to let you know that when we get to it. Okay, so we when we think about the holidays, we like for right now, you see a lot of displays, holiday displays. I even have holiday displays in the displays up. I love it. I love to decorate my home. It's very fun. It's almost we have like a healthy competition in our community. Everybody trying to put up things, and we have a competition in our community where you can get a little prize if your house is voted to be best decorated. You get the commercials, and some commercials are traditional commercials here where if you see a certain holiday commercial, it brings back memories. I know one commercial for sure that I see all the time is a Coca-Cola commercial, and it kind of it's the holiday season. Another one my daughter just saw the other day, and she said, "Oh man, I remember that. This, it's definitely the holidays when you see that." Like, um, it was M&M commercial, and they're coming in, and they buy the Christmas tree, and she says, I remember that. I remember that growing up, and so there are just certain things that are in place. We see a lot of social media pictures of people with their trees. I mean, you see beautiful trees, people sharing their family photos. For a couple of years, people have been doing the pajama um, pictures where the whole family is dressed in, you know, identical pajamas, and they do these family photos. And so these are all these beautiful, very fun and vibrant, filled with memories, a holiday traditions that we're seeing and that we're experiencing. And even with me saying that, today is chilly, but I'm here with my hot coffee. But what I also like to do is during the holiday season is get me some hot cocoa. That is very traditional for me. I make sure that I keep cocoa in the house during the season so that whenever I feel like I want some hot cocoa, I don't have to run out and try to go get it. I actually have some in my house. I just, heat up my hot cocoa and I drink it. And so there are so many beautiful traditions and different things that we like to do because it puts us in the holiday spirit, right? But there is another side to the holiday, and this is the side we like to address here as well, because there are so many people that are affected by this. um and the truth is, just personally, these past couple of weeks, I've had, cousins that I've lost, that made their transition. So that brings me back to grief. So once again, there's so many people who are facing so many different stressors, different triggers, even during this holiday. So, according to a survey by the American Psychological Association, 38%, and this is from 2019 study, okay? 38% of people said their anxiety levels increased over the holidays. 38%. You might be saying, well, that doesn't sound very high. Yes, it does. It really is. 38% of people actually experience high levels of anxiety, and there's so many reasons. um some of the more popular reasons would be people are stressed in regards to making sure that they have money, making sure that even after they purchase gifts, that they have money after this holiday. People want to make sure that when they have children, that their children is well cared for during the holiday. That's a pressure. That's a pressure. Going out shopping and the environment, and that environment can become very hostile and dangerous. To be honest with you, it used to be a time where it could be very fun and festive, but to be honest, our environment, our community these days, for sure, has made it very challenging. People are more alerted because of our crime rate. So during this holiday season, you are more likely to experience some form of robbery or theft, or see more of it in your community, more of it on the news. more homes get broken into during the holiday season because they're assuming that you have gifts and you have, expensive things that can be taken and resold. Um, we talk about porch pirates is what they call it, right? People know that you're getting packages more because people are doing a lot more of online shopping, and so there are people who actually follow delivery trucks. And they're watching them make deliveries, go right to the porches and steal it. So these are things, these are stressors, these are triggers in regards to heightened anxiety during the holiday season, right? But this is just something small compared to other things. But just saying that these are the more obvious concerns that people have regarding the holidays, making sure that their house is prepared for guests and friends and getting their menu together and just making sure these preparations can bring on some form of anxiety, right? So this article goes on to say that, but there are, three specific topics that people have actually shared that is a huge issue with them during the holiday season. This is their holiday stressors. And one of them is this the person I want to be with? Is this the person I want to be with? And this is the one that I said kind of caught my attention because, it brings a point of two views, okay? One view is that people are questioning, uh, you know, who they are with, right? And they're questioning, whether they will ever be with anyone else, anyone, period. But let's deal with this one. It says, is this the person that I want to be with? And the thing is, the closer that you get to the end of the year, you begin to review, begin to reflect, you begin to think about the time that you've been spending with this person. You think about the good times, the bad times, you kind of weigh it out, right? Because when people start to deal with the expectation of a new year, the first thing you're doing is that what you're pretty much doing is you're trying to prepare yourself. As we stated, we leave the negative behind, all the drama, the trauma, and we move on forward to the new year. And we do not want to take that into our new year. And so that's what people are doing in regards to their relationships. They're thinking, they're reflecting as they are facing a new year. Is this the person that I want to be with? They begin to look at their life and their relationship more analytical. Okay, they begin to look at the choices that they're made, and that they are making in regards to relationships to see if this is the right person, if this is the person that they want to continue to be with. According to this article, this is an internal struggle that tends to be more heightened with the holidays, okay? And it becomes very stressful. The article says when stress is heightened, people can feel like their partner's true colors shine through, which may or may not be pretty. This time of the year, it seems that no matter whatever the memories are, or no matter good or bad memories, it's still a stressor because they are now under the microscope. They are now looking at their relationship from a different perspective. Um, so this is a huge thing. This is a huge concern because sometimes we just think that people are just worried about, during the holidays, getting someone in their life to be in, spend time with during the holidays. We always just think of people who want a date, for New Year's, New Year's Eve, Christmas to take to the family, Thanksgiving and all that. We think of that when we think about relationships during the holiday season. But what we don't think about is individuals who have been in relationships for the whole entire year and are now being very reflective about that. Individuals who are taking their time to say, now let's look back on this year and see, exactly, is this where I want to be? Is this something that I would like to continue? And this is healthy. It can be healthy. to reflect. I always believe in being reflective, but as you guys know from my last podcast, I realized that the way that we make decisions, the way that I make decisions, let me make that personal, the way that I have been making decisions in the past, has not been as objective as it should be. And so sometimes, even when you are at this point in your life where you're being reflective and you're trying to determine if this is where you want to be, or where is it that you do want to be, we need to look at that from a very objective perspective. We can't already have in our mind what we think we want, because then that kind of taints the whole outcome that you're looking for. You just kind of really want to step back. And sometimes it does take making a list. I know that sounds really corny, but it does sometimes takes making a list to see the good, the bad, So like when you're thinking about a relationship, whether it is a romantic relationship or just a friendship, or whatever it is, a partnership, a business relationship, it doesn't matter. You want to look at the good and you want to look at the bad, and you want to see, what are the benefits, and if the benefits are not stronger or weighing more than the drama and the trauma, then you might want to reconsider, the the direction of that relationship, because the truth is life is too short to you know allow the drama and the trauma of any relationship to supersede your benefits, to supersede your mental health, to supersede your emotional health. And eventually, we all know it affects our physical health. So, that is one of the stressors, people being very concerned about who they are with and should they continue to be in that relationship. And it's a huge thing. Think about it. We have heard people who have been in relationships for 30 years, 20 years. It doesn't matter. I've heard people say, after their kids have all graduated and left the nest, right, and they're home alone with just each other, and they're empty nesters, right, they no longer have a reason to pretend, right? And so they break up. And the thing is, I've heard people say, well, we was just together trying to hang in there for the kids, and the kids was like the glue that kept them together. That was their focus. That was the one thing that they had in common still, was the love and the support of their children. But once the children left out the household, then they no longer had that. So these things can happen, to get to a point where you become reflective of your relationship. But it seems that this is something that is a huge deal um, during the holiday season. So there's another one that says, how can I be grateful when there's so much sadness in the world? And that's something that we hear all the time. We hear that all the time. People say that they almost feel like a hypocrite to celebrate and be happy and to enjoy festivities when they know that people are hurting and going through such horrible experiences. It feels like it's wrong to do that. So people struggle with that. People are actually, struggling with that. How can I do that? When I know that there's so much hate, there's so much violence, so much division, in our world. How can we, do that? What I saw last year, which was amazing here. I can only speak for the community that I live in, and what I saw was, because there was so much going on last year, so much that was so not the norm. Because remember, our children was, at home being, they was learning by Zoom, and it was just really, really a strange, different type of year. And so, because of that, what I saw was people starting the holiday extremely early. I mean, I saw people put their holiday decorations out, way earlier than I've ever seen before, being, this is in my community, being extra friendly, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I see you putting your stuff up, you're looking good. I love it. It's just so much support And I think it was because of the trauma and the drama of 2020, and people just needed something to, give them some type of normalcy. We were seeing like you know, uh, a lot of crime, a lot of defacing of property. We saw a lot of, dishonesty in our political system, dishonesty, in those who are who hold power. Our community was so divided. Our country was so divided. There was so many horrible things that was going on. And so, because of that, I think people just really needed something that was normal, something that felt like, home, something that felt like your childhood, something that felt traditional. And, you know, Christmas is just very traditional, it's very much like home. And so they just began to gravitate towards that, and they made it, super big, and they started really early, and that's what I saw last year. And so this year it's like the same thing. You're seeing that pattern of starting early, putting all that you can put in, and people who I have never seen really decorate, in our community. I'm looking at them decorating, I'm looking at them showing this spirit, this holiday spirit. And so I think that's what we do. I think that's a good way to, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, but I think that's a good way to address it, because we are aware. We are aware of, the hurt, the pain, sadness, and the this discourse. May I say that, the discourse in our world today, right? It's so much. You try to have a decent day, and then you get, the news of this happening or that's happening, or the pending doom of this happening, the pending doom of that happening. And it's very disheartening. It's very, hard to hear, hard to watch. A lot of things that we've had to watch and see and be exposed to. It's been a lot, right? But, we can't live there, we can't stay there, our psyche cannot take it. And so we have to gravitate to something that what is familiar, something that is like home. And so the holidays, to me, if we look at it differently now, I'm talking about looking at things differently. If we look at it from that perspective of, taking something that, horrible experiences, and instead of focusing, we're not ignoring it, we are much aware of it, and we acknowledge it. But instead of just focusing on that and allowing it to like eat up at us as a cancer, we choose to respect that, acknowledge that, but still be able to gravitate to something for our health, for our own mental health, and our own, mental, emotional, physical health. Gravitate to something that is like home. Okay, like home, something that brings us comfort, tradition. Some people, they're very traditions are very important to them, because it just reminds them of home, and it's something that they can gravitate to, something that they can, what they say, like put your, put your foot into and settle into. These things are important to people. So, I don't think that, celebrating the holidays, I don't think that it is, being a hypocrite when things are disarray. I don't think that it's being a hypocrite at all. I think that if you are a holiday person, if you love the holidays, because some people just, they're not really into the holidays, but if that is something that you have enjoyed, most of your life, and, you found it to be a huge part of your life and upbringing, sometimes falling back to that mindset, it's so healthy. I'm the type of person where I love Christmas movies. I love Christmas. Believe it or not, I really do love Christmas movies. And so, I will during the holiday season just watch Christmas movies. A lot of them. I enjoy them. Takes me back to my childhood. Takes me back, to the times where things were simple, and it was less stress, for me, and because I was an adult, so I didn't have to deal with adult issues. So I love Christmas movies. I love them. I love them because it takes you back to your childhood, takes you back to good times of waiting, for the Christmas morning and celebrating and being excited and feeding your face and having treats and laughter and playing games and all these wonderful experiences that comes with the holiday. And so it's I think that it is healthy. I think it is healthy to look at it in that type of way versus look at it as if you are being a hypocrite, celebrating it during such sad moments in our world. Okay. Um, the last one that it talked about was, what if I have to spend the holidays alone? What if I have to spend holidays alone? Now, loneliness tends to be a major issue over the holidays, a time when people are together and plastering it all over, the internet, all over billboards, all over magazine covers. So this becomes a huge issue. If you don't want to spend the holidays alone, according to this article, try to be proactive in seeking out alternative opportunities. You can find activity groups, nonprofits, and it's a lot of nonprofit organizations that are there for individuals who are alone, individuals who may be homeless, individuals who don't have family. So that nonprofit is your family, and they have those things there. Another option is ask friends or family, even coworkers, if you can join them. You don't want to be pushy, but you can let them know, hey, I have no plans for the holidays, and you'd be very surprised when people will say, hey, you want to come over to our house and celebrate with us. You might see that be something that can happen for you, and if that's something that you're not interested in, I understand that too. So if you're not interested in kind of in almost inviting yourself, then you have to find out what's going to work for you. What is the best thing that you can do for you to make sure that you're not experiencing loneliness during the holiday season? Because, we talk about individuals, like during Valentine's Day, right? And all these romantic holidays, people often share how frustrated they are, right? Because they're seeing everybody else being happy, sharing all their photos and their videos and their plans, and they're like, hey, I don't have anybody that hates Valentine's Day, right? Okay, that is completely different than the holidays. The holidays is like a deeper wound. It's more deeper than like Valentine's Day or any other, holiday that you're spending with people. This is like a really deep, wound, because once again it kind of takes you back to your childhood. And if you grew up in an environment where there were, lots of people around, and you go to, where it's less people around, it could be very hard. Let me give you an example. When I was, growing up, holidays, Christmas was a huge deal for us. It was a huge deal. My sister and I spent a lot of time prepping the food for my mom, for her to cook. And family came over, and then when I had my own family, my family would come over, to my mom's house. My little kids when they were small, and we would get still other family, and they would come over there because my mom actually really enjoyed cooking for everybody, just sending everybody together, right? It's that opportunity to come together, on a good occasion, right? No one is sick, no one is deceased. We learn, to come together, spending time with each other on a positive note versus always when we have to because we lost somebody or somebody's sick or something like that. So she loved it, and we loved it too. Over the years, we've lost so many family members, right? And so it kind of, changed the dynamics of it. But what happens is now, my kids are older, and so, my son, he'll bring his, you know, uh, friend over, and so we'll all be together still at my mom's house. We try to revamp it. This is my point. You have to learn to revamp it. So like now at my house, before we go to my mom's house, my tradition has been to make sure that I prepare Christmas breakfast. So my kids always and my husband has always, received Thanksgiving dinner at my house. That's what I host Thanksgiving dinner. My mom comes over and I host it. Christmas has always been hers, and so what I do is because I want to, our dynamics has changed. It's been quite different. Like I stated, we lost a lot of people, and it's a little challenging to get the people together and all this. So what I do is make sure that we have Christmas breakfast at our house. Once we open our gifts and we, talk and share and swap our gifts and hug and thank you and appreciate you and love you, I go straight to that kitchen and I begin to prepare my breakfast and everybody eats and then we rest and because we up early and we rest and we prepare ourselves to go to her house and we make sure that we spend time with her and the guests that other family members and guests that come through and then we make the moment matter, that time together matter because we know that it's important. We know what it's like to be in a place where we're losing, our family members. They are getting older. And so we treasure them, we treasure this time. We treasure being with one another and taking care of one another and loving on one another. We give each other flowers while we're here. But it is very hard sometimes to be in that to be there, and then you kind of reminisce about when we had everybody together. When they were still here, and the laughter and the giggling and the fun and the conversations. The catching up and what's going on with you and what's happening with you and laughing about it and just getting in that time. And so you kind of miss that. So that I understand about having to revamp because things happen, life happens. And so like I stated, one of the things that I have done is started to prepare this breakfast. This is our new tradition. And this is what I'm saying. Sometimes you have to create your own tradition um, to, get you out of this mindset, to get you into a better place that, you need to be to make sure that you're not, um, you know, having a very sad and gloomy and dull holiday. You want to make sure that you are maximizing the moment because it shifts so fast. It changes so fast. The time that we spent with one another, we had no idea that so quickly we would lose so many and that they wouldn't be there, for another holiday. And so my suggestion is for those who are concerned about being lonely during the holiday, revamp whatever you've been doing before that's just not working. Consider revamping that. Consider doing, creating new traditions. If it's going with friends, going with co-workers, celebrating with them. If it's going to a nonprofit and sitting amongst them, just do something that's going to take you out of that place. If it's you being at home, making yourself a huge meal and inviting someone to you, that's a great idea, you guys. This is an awesome idea. You don't have to necessarily go and feel like you imposing or pushing yourself on someone else. But because that's some people, they feel like I don't want to impose. You don't have to do that. You can create your own tradition and then invite people because there's somebody else who's just like you who would love to have an invitation. You could be the host. You could be the one to say, hey, you want to come over? I know you don't, have family here. I know that you new to this state. I know that you new. Would you like to come and, to my house? Because I'm hosting, the holiday meal. I'm hosting the holiday celebration at my place. I mean, that would be awesome. So my point is we have to learn to revamp. We have to learn to, change up when it's necessary. Okay, you have to learn to do that. Listen, I did not want to be with you guys, take up all your time. I did not want to, take up all your time and be with you all too long. But we have come down to the end of this podcast. It's been great. It really has, you guys. I hope that you have gotten something out of this. It was very important to me to make sure that I'm sharing something with you, especially as I stated, become closer to this holiday season. And so remember, you guys, to love yourself, love one another. Please remember to take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Whatever, if you're feeling kind of down, if you're feeling kind of moody, if you feel that feeling coming up, don't embrace it. Don't give it a hug, shake it off, resist it. Don't fall into this rabbit hole. Okay? I want you to enjoy, the holiday season regardless of whatever you're going through. Just make up in your mind, I'm not going to allow myself to be put into this very, very sad place, because you're going to the new year. Okay, so we don't want to take this to the new year. No environment is ideal. No environment is ideal. It's always something that goes on that can take you out, real quick, right? Take you out your move real quick. But we do not want to embrace it. We do not want to embrace it. So as we prepare, for the new year, let's be intentional about celebrating, the holiday and making the best of the moment. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Renew My Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Cook. As always, it is my honor and my pleasure to be able to share tips and tools with you. You guys remember that I love you, but most importantly, God loves you more. God bless you guys. Have an outstanding day.